what would I do if I went bankrupt today? If I went bankrupt today and I could, if I, let's just say I had 10, 15 grand left in the bank account, how would I make seven figures this year? How would I make $1 million this year with limited resources, no network? And so I designed this like 7-step process that I myself personally would have implemented if I lost everything today. So this is what I would do, and this is what I kind of designed as a way to say, like, look, like if I can make seven figures this year, you could do it too. Just follow these 7 steps. And I'm not going to be able to go into massive, massive detail here, but strategically and holistically, you guys will understand what it takes to get to this point. So that way you guys can scale your businesses as well. And if you're a newbie, it's okay. If you have no real estate experience, it's okay. This is so, but for those of you guys in the business, the first step is going to seem a little newbie. So just bear with me. Okay. So step one, you got to create an entity. Look, if you could be running things on your personal level, that's fine, but it's better to just create that corporate protection, liability protection in place, and then just do things the right way, right? You might as well set it up front, do things the right way instead of trying to figure things out once you actually start making money. I suggest you guys set up an LLC, ideally in one of the good states that will protect your neck. Okay, if you don't have a website, guys, like it's 2025, you should have a website. The next step is getting your CRM in place. All right. So you can't build and scale a business without a CRM. I'm sorry. Like, there's no way you're going to be able to have good lead management, data management, deal management without a customer relationship management software that manages all things for you. In fact, I have a shirt I got from Collective Genius, one of the places I met Matt and Dave, that says, if it's not on Salesforce, it did not happen. Now, I'm not saying to get Salesforce, but I'm saying get a CRM that's functional and useful. The next thing I have my students do, this is all step one, is get on a bulk dialing. Do some bulk dialing. Like the single dial approach is really good in the beginning, but I do recommend getting a bulk dialing system. And so that way you could have the kind of scale that Nick was talking about earlier, right? Really having more contacts per conversation. But you don't want to just get a dialer and just, guys, I've ran a dialer for 7 years now, right? So I kind of understand how to make it functional. If you don't have the right redial campaigns in place, you're not going to be able to rehash those phone numbers and get in contact with the people that said not interested or call me back. You don't know if it's the right number. There's a really good way to go deep on that data. So that way, every time you do register a wrong number, you could skip trace it and get the right number. You're not just stuck with the 15% of the right numbers that are offered to you on these platforms. You can skip trace on one platform, take the wrong numbers, and skip trace it on another platform, and get those redial systems in place on your dialer, so that way no phone number goes untouched over a long period of time. Lastly, in step one is getting your KPIs dialed in. Guys, if you can't measure success, if you can't measure it, you can't improve it, right? So you really need to know how many contacts you need to have to get a lead, how many leads you need to have to get to a deal. After you get a deal, what percentage of those deals actually close? How much are you making per deal to have predictable revenue and be able to project it, right? Those KPIs are the baseline of improvement that you could have. Is when you're running a solo operation, KPIs are not that important because you're just running the show. But as you start to bring on staff, virtual assistants, and full-time callers, it's crucial that you have these KPIs in place. Otherwise, you just won't be able to manage them efficiently, and you're probably going to get taken advantage of. Okay. All right. So then phase two, once you have all of that dialed in, you got a good system in place, you're managing your KPIs, you have your data management in a good place, you have your lead management in a good place. And I hope I'm not intimidating you guys. I know that this seems like a lot, but the way that I've been doing it to kind of make it very seamless for my students, because I understand that this tech is probably one of the biggest hurdles when it comes to scaling a business. So what I've actually done is I've run 5-day classes literally for each step of these businesses. I run reoccurring trainings 5 days a week to help you guys build out the step one over and over. If you miss a Wednesday, don't worry, you could join next week or you go to the recording. And so those phases are kind of built in to the program I'm offering. But generally speaking, you don't need the program. What you need to do is eventually phase this out. Don't skip steps. I will say where a lot of people mess up in this business, and I see it time and time and time again, because I've literally messed up, right? I came out of corporate America, got a big Christmas bonus. I had like $65,000 saved up. And then I wanted to do what everybody and every single podcast tells you to do: direct mail, texting, call center, door knocking, bandit signs, do it all, do it all, do it all. And you end up spending all this money without the right sales skills, business skills, and the CRM to actually manage those leads in an efficient way. And so what you end up doing is wasting all this money. So I really encourage all you guys today, please, if you just happen to have a bunch of money and you really want to scale, do not skip steps in this process, because if you do, I lost $65,000 in my first year of business, just to give you context. I got like 9 students that came into my community that literally did the exact same thing that I did, and we're dialing them back, and they're seeing consistent success right now. So please do not just start dumping money into $5,000, $10,000 a month direct mail campaigns to start your business. You're gonna end up in a lot of hurt. Step 2 for me is getting the next step of marketing set up, where you're not having to cold call to generate leads. You're personally not having to cold call 100 people to talk to 20 people that of the 20, only 10 of them are actually the right owners, right? You're no longer having to do that. You're actually only talking to people that said, I'm interested in selling. And so phase 2, step 2, is building out your text message marketing. And so what I really recommend is that you get a texting software that integrates well with your CRM. Hire a VA that can help you with this, because you really don't want to figure this out on your own. It took me hundreds of hours to figure out. You just want, if you can, just get the drip campaign set up, the templates in place, the cadences, the quick replies, and then have like a training manual and a management structure. So that way you're optimizing your virtual assistant to generate about 5 of these leads a day. Now, if you get this person doing 5 leads a day, guess what? 100 text message leads usually equates to 1 deal. So now on a virtual assistant on a platform that you're spending maybe like $1,200 a month on, you're locking up 1 deal a month. Take that revenue and dump it back into the business. What I really like to see my students do is be consistent on this scaling of their text message marketing for about 2 months before they jump to step 2. I'm going to jump to step 2 now. So step 2, once you get that consistency for 30 to 60 days, all right, let's dial back in. You got your KPIs in place. You got your KPIs when you're calling, and you got your KPIs for your VA, and you have this infrastructure set up so you know exactly where you stand and where you need to improve in your business. Okay, do that consistently for 2 months, okay? Now you come back. Now you're in day 90. All right. Now it's time to get you to 3 to 5 deals a month. Now we got to get your call center dialed in. You want to make sure you get I don't want to say auto dial, like a calling tool, like a triple line dialer, multi-line dialer that does number verification. Okay. Because a lot of these number verifiers are going to be, they get spammed out very, very quickly. And you just want to make sure that the numbers stay clean. If you don't get one that does that, it's okay. I have a dialer that doesn't do the number verifications. I just have a number verifier that scans the numbers for me and then cleans them up. Okay. So get one that does that and integrates with your CRM so you could keep track of all of the results of the call. So if you click wrong number, the CRM registers that it's a wrong number. And then you could kind of go deep on that data, right? These 10,000 records I called have no right numbers. Let me skip trace them with another software and call them again. It's just a way more efficient way to run your business. So you're not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on marketing with a ton of wastage, if you will. So what I recommend is you hire 3. Never hire just 1 cold caller, because the churn rate on cold callers it's like a 65 to 80% churn rate on if you hire 10 virtual assistants. You're probably going to end up with 3 of them that are going to stick out for longer than a year. So I always recommend you hire in groups of 3 at the minimum. I hire typically in groups of 15. Okay. So I mean, nobody starts off like that, but I recommend with at least 3, with the right training in place, with your KPIs dialed in. And the KPI side of the call center is more crucial than anything because it's easy to cheat the system. I've gotten cheated for years and I didn't realize. Okay. But if you have a dialed in call center, each virtual assistant should be driving in 3 leads a day, every single day. Okay. So you got 3 driving in 9. That's about 50 a week, plus the texting, which is 25. At this point, folks, you should be getting a deal a week. Okay. You might not close a deal a week, but you should at least bring one in, and about 65% of them should close, and you should make around 25 to 30 grand on each deal. I mean, depending on what market you're in, right? But at this point, folks, you are very close to being a 7-figure entrepreneur. The next step is that's step 3. Step 4 is getting really deep on your data. It's like a first to market approach, getting really good data, whether it's from the county or these other data providers, building a manual and having your virtual assistant upload it in a way where you're right when that record comes out, you are the first one to call them, you're the first one to mail them, and you're getting in contact with these people before all your competitors get in contact with them. So that first to market kind of setup. And then you want to implement like niche direct mail strategies. DealMachine has a really good one where basically like you find unique that's like a first to market strategy in itself, finding unique houses that aren't going to just pop up in county searches, but finding them on the street and mailing to them. I have a ton of success stories where people actually like scour Google Maps and DealMachine, and it's a really good approach. So building out something like that, that's a step 4 process for me. Step 5 is really building out a dialed in direct mail approach. You got to really build in a system that captures each call, populates that lead in the system so you don't lose any leads or any opportunities. Set up a CRM where really all leads are treated like gold. Okay. And then implement your direct mail. I love direct mail. But that's the last one of the last marketing channels you want to implement because of how expensive it is. And you don't want to do it out of order where your CRM is not in a good place. It's not even your CRM, it's your sales skills. It's having the team to call them consistently and follow up. It's having that infrastructure in place, because those direct mail pieces, if you are not converting at a very high clip and nurturing those relationships and following up, you'll easily lose money like I did in my first year of business. Right now, if I spend $1,000 on direct mail, I'm making about $5,000 in return. So I'm like I'm spending about $70,000 a month on direct mail. I plan on getting to $100,000 a month on direct mail this quarter. It works, but that's kind of like one of the later phases of the business. The next thing you want to do is all about lead management, right? Creating those drip campaigns, texts, calls, emails in a way where every single lead is being like, again, really being treated like gold. And then quite honestly, getting to 7 figures is pretty easy. Like about $1.3 million a year is kind of where I see the cap off on like solopreneurs with like one partner. The next level of business, scaling your business, is just leadership. That's all it is. You just have to be a great leader. So if I ask David what books he reads, right, to scale his business, David Lecko, he'd probably say all leadership, business management type books. He's probably studying the greats of the greats, billionaires that built like these businesses, because that's really where the skill comes from, going from 7 figures to 8 figures, leadership. And so that's phase 7. That's step 7 to building an 8-figure business. But the key to really building and getting all this stuff done, guys, girls, it's hiring great people. Okay. As you hire, do not skip out on, oh, I need somebody right now, let me just hire them. Really be intentional about who you're hiring, their prior skill sets. Are they a winner? Do they align with your culture? Do they get excited about what they do every single day? Make sure you bring on great people, because great people, a company is just a group of people, right? And so if you want a great company, you just need to work with great people.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.